What's up everybody, welcome back. So this is going to be the final video of 2021 and the final few sets of battles as far as the Holiday Cup is concerned. But before we get into it, I just want to wish you all a very happy new year. I know it's already probably new year in some parts of the world, whereas it will be soon in certain other parts. But wherever you are, I just hope 2022 brings happier and brighter days, because obviously 2021 has been very difficult for a lot of people around the world, and for me personally as well. Honestly, it's been probably one of the most difficult years of my life. But I'm really hoping that 2022 has good things in store, right? And before we actually get into the video, I just want to also address a couple of other things as well. I know a lot of you have been asking in the comments why I've not been consistently uploading in recent times. Obviously, it's been very hard for me, even in spite of me saying that I'll probably get back to a consistent upload schedule. It's almost never really happened. I've been uploading probably like twice or thrice a month, in spite of probably promising uploading twice or thrice a week maybe. And I've been thinking about it, and honestly, like I said, it's been one of the most difficult years of my life, especially after losing my mom. It took me a while to sort of get back into even playing the game, to get into a mindset where I'm going to be able to play and also upload on a consistent basis. And also life's been very hectic as well, which is why I've not been able to manage multiple things at the same time. So honestly, after thinking about it quite a bit, I've decided to step back a little bit. I mean, I just want to make it very clear. I just don't want to make false promises and say that I'm going to be uploading every other day or every probably twice a week or stuff like that. I'll probably be taking a step back and taking a bit of a break from Pokemon Go PvP and uploading over the next 2 or 3 months. I'll probably still get 1 or 2 videos out a month, probably for community days or when some new Pokemon or some new event comes out and stuff. But in general, I just want to take a step back and try and reflect and manage my time a little bit better. This is definitely not going to be the end of it. I do love playing Pokemon Go PvP. I mean, I just definitely want to get back into it. You guys have been so supportive, and yeah, hopefully when I do get back, I'm going to be able to do it consistently, right? Because there's just no point really doing it once in a while and then going off. Which is why I'm actually planning to sort of come back probably 2 or 3 months down the line. I don't want to put like a specific timeline on it, but I just want to take a little bit of a step back in the foreseeable future. But like I said, it's not going to be the end of it. I'm probably still going to be getting out like 1 or 2 videos a month, hopefully at least one for community days and another one for some other events or stuff like that. I mean, the Sinnoh Cup and multiple other cups that are coming up in the season are pretty exciting as well. But I'm just not going to be able to do it as consistently, right? And yeah, I mean, like I said, the reason I mentioned it in one of my videos like earlier as well. The reason I actually started out this channel was a way to kind of ease that pain a little bit, because my mom was diagnosed with cancer like a couple of years back, and I was kind of managing this along with, Pokemon Go was very healing for me in that sense, and it's always going to continue to be, right? Pokemon Go is always, I always associate happy memories with Pokemon Go, and especially with PvP, and I really hope to get back into the scene full-fledged in probably very soon, in a few months' time, right? But anyways, before we sort of wrap that up, I just want to put out a final video for the Holiday Cup. This is going to be a very special one because it's going to feature a Legacy Christmas Hat Raichu, which I caught exactly 5 years ago on the 31st of December 2016. It was a double Legacy Raichu. I mean, Thundershock used to be Legacy on Raichu, but it's obviously added back into its regular move pool, but it's going to have Thunder, right? Thunder is going to be his Legacy move, along with Brick Break. Even though PvPoke recommends Wild Charge and probably Wild Charge is better, I just feel like Thunder just does a little bit more damage without the debuffs, right? Obviously, it's a lot more expensive, but it's just a little bit of a spicy pick. And I'm going to be running it alongside Dedenne and Alolan Ninetales. It's going to be basically a double electric, double fairy line with, it's going to be kind of an ABB line with Alolan Ninetales in the lead, with Dedenne as the save swap and Kanto Raichu in the back. But yeah, you're probably going to be leading with Alolan Raichu, and then at some point I'm going to be save swapping into Dedenne to bait out their electric counter so that Raichu can pretty much close out towards endgame, right? And honestly, it's not like, again, the best team comp out there. It's definitely a lot of fun to play with. But yeah, there were some really exciting battles in here, so let's just get straight into it. Moving on to the first battle here, I'm going to be leading with Ninetales, and the reason I'm going to be leading with Alolan Ninetales is because it's going to provide some coverage against some of those ground types like Unova, Stunfisk, Diggersby, etc. And also some of those flyers like Altaria, right? So we have Alolan Ninetales into an Electrode here. Pretty neutral matchup this. And they actually make a switch into their Dewgong. Immediately going to go into my Raichu here. Raichu has a pretty decent matchup against Dewgong because both Brick Break and Thunder are super effective because of the Ice Water typing on Dewgong. And I'm going to shield one of these right now because Ice Event is going to do quite a bit of damage. And again, Raichu is extremely glassy, right? So I'm going to overfarm a little bit and go for another Brick Break here. This is debuffed, but it's still going to do a decent amount of damage here. as it does there, and I can let this Icy Wind go through, right? Because we are going to be able to survive it and get off another Brick Break. So I'm going to let it go through and go for another Brick Break right now. This is again going to do super effective damage and take it out or get the shield from the Dewgong. They do give up a shield, which is okay. We've lost Switch advantage at this point, which is fine as well. I'm going to come in with my Dedenne here, and I'm going to try and completely farm it down, right? I'm not going to shield this because we can survive an Icy Wind. I'm going to try and completely farm it down here. And we're going to have a lot of loaded energy for whatever is going to come out, right? They actually decided to come back with their Electrode, immediately switching to my Ninetales right now and going to go for the Weather Ball here. They let that go through, which is fine. And now they make a switch into their Frosslass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and build up a lot of extra energy. And then I'm going to try and bait with Weather Ball and then go for the Dazzling Gleam, right? I do unfortunately shield the Avalanche. I thought that was probably going to be a Shadow Ball. So I'm going to bait with Weather Ball here, really hoping that I can get a shield right now. And we do get the shield, which is fantastic. I'm able to get to a Dazzling Gleam here. This is again going to do massive neutral damage. And Frosslass is glassy as well. Just almost one-shots it right there from that range. And yeah. At this point, it's just going to be another Avalanche, which is resisted, and we do survive that. Going to come in with my Dedenne and farm it down, and immediately going to go for the play rough against that Electrode there. So, again, that Electrode probably had a lot of loaded energy, but I guess we won CMP there. And one of the things is that Dedenne completely walls Electrode, especially if they're running Discharge and Foul Play, because both of them are resisted, right? Because of the Electric Fairy typing on Dedenne. I think Dedenne kind of walls a lot of different Pokemon. It's actually quite incredible, really, as far as the Holiday Cup is concerned. But we're into an Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak is honestly one of the hardest Pokemon to deal with for this team because this thing kind of beats the entire team, right? But they were actually running Hex, and I shouldn't have switched out before because Alolan Ninetales has an okay matchup against Alolan Marowak, which is running Hex, because again, Hex is only going to do neutral, right? Whereas you have to watch out for Bone Clubs with both Dedenne and Raichu as well. So I'm going to have to shield this up now, and then I'm going to try and go for another Discharge here. I'm really hoping they let this go through because, again, like I said, Alolan Marowak is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. But they do shield that, which is understandable. And I'm going to shield this up as well. I'm going to try and get off another Discharge here. And hoping I can get to a Discharge before they can get to another Bone Club. Unfortunately, they sneak another Hex through. So going for a Discharge here, and it does take out the Alolan Marowak, which is great. And they come in with Diggersby. Now, this is very, very difficult. They have an Alolan Marowak and a Ground type in the back. And also, we lagged a little bit, and I couldn't get off the play rough. And that kind of is going to end up costing me the game here, right? And also, they have so much loaded energy right now. They're going to be able to get off multiple Fire Punches here, which is going to do super effective damage against Ninetales because of the fire, because of the Ice typing. But yeah, I really have to land at least a couple of Weather Balls here, right? So I'm going to go for the Weather Ball right now. Let's see if this gets the shield from the Diggersby, and it does get the shield, and this is GG's at this point because Raichu in the back hardly has any play against Diggersby, not able to get off another Weather Ball as well. And even though we have access to Brick Break, which is going to do super effective damage against Diggersby because of the normal typing, it's still not going to be enough, right? So going to go for another Brick Break here, and yeah, trying to go for back-to-back Brick Breaks right now. But again, as you can see, just does very, very minimal damage, right? That just almost hardly does anything, to be honest. And we're probably going to need another couple of Brick Breaks here. So I'm going to try and build up to 2 of these right now. But I'm just going to go for the first one. We're still probably like a couple of Thunder Shocks away from the next one, but not going to be able to get to it. And also they have like a full health Pokemon in the back. And these team comps are very, very difficult to deal with, especially if they have Alolan Marowak on the lead with Diggersby or Unova Stunfisk or something. It's like, you know, probably extremely hard to deal with anyway. So moving on to the next battle here, we have Ninetales into a Ninetales. It's actually a mirror matchup here. I'm going to actually stay in for a bit, and I'm going to try and go straight for the Dazzling Gleam right now because that's going to do massive neutral damage in this mirror. Again, going for the Dazzling Gleam here. It should do about 70% of Alolan Ninetales' health as it does there, which is fantastic. And then they're going to go for a move right now. And I'm going to shield this because this is probably going to be a Dazzling Gleam. And unfortunately ends up being a Weather Ball shield bait. So I'm going to go for a Weather Ball before they can get to a Dazzling Gleam here. This is going to take out the Ninetales or get the shield. It does get the shield at this point. So I'm going to try and farm it down. But this is probably going to be a Dazzling Gleam. So I'm going to shield this up. And hopefully I'm going to be able to farm down, right? So we've won switch advantage even though we're at a shield deficit. They come in with their Talonflame immediately going into my Dedenne here. The good thing is we have 2 Talonflame counters in the back. So going for the discharge as soon as possible here. It's probably going to get the shield from the Talonflame as it does there. And then they're going to go for a move, which is okay. Probably going to be a Flame Charge here. But they end up going for Brave Bird, which is definitely a mistake. I guess they probably misclicked that because Brave Bird is resisted and also ends up debuffing them. So I'm going to try and come with my Ninetales and go immediately for the Weather Ball. But unfortunately, they make a switch into their Vigoroth to catch the Weather Ball, right? They do catch the Weather Ball and Vigoroth. So what I'm going to try and do right now is I'm going to try and land another Weather Ball and Vigoroth, and then come into my Raichu and try and completely farm down with Thunder Shock, right? So that I can land the Thunder on the Talonflame there. So going to go for the Weather Ball here. It's going to do quite a bit of neutral damage against Vigoroth. Immediately switching into my Raichu right now and try and completely farm it down here. We're going to take a lot of damage from Body Slam, but I'm really hoping I can farm it down so that I can have a Thunder ready to go here. So I'm going to try and farm it down. It's going to be very, very close right now, and we managed to survive with like 1 HP in a dream, as Zionic says. And I'm going to be able to get off the Thunder here. It's going to do super effective damage and just one-shot the Talonflame there. So very, very close. Honestly, if Raichu had gone down, I mean, Ninetales in the back with no energy would have had no play against Talonflame there, right? So anyways, moving on to the next battle here. We have Ninetales into a Talonflame again. Terrible matchup. Immediately switching into my Dedenne right now. And then they are still staying in, but they may now make a switch into their Altaria to catch the discharge there, right? That's actually a good play on their part. I probably should have held back and thrown the play off instead. But this is a pretty solid matchup for Dedenne, right? Because Dedenne completely walls Altaria. Everything Altaria has except for Moonblast is resisted by Dedenne because of the Electric Fairy typing. I do go for play off. They do shield it this time, but it's fine. I'm going to let it go through. Probably just going to be a Sky Attack here, which is resisted because of the Electric typing. And I'm just going to go straight for another play off, right? Because Discharge is probably not going to KO from this range. But Play Rough is definitely going to KO or get their second shield. It does get their second shield. This is best case scenario because they are at a 2 shield deficit. I can just come in with my Ninetales and completely farm it down, right? I don't have to shield this because Sky Attack, it doesn't do that much damage and I'm going to be able to farm down. They switch into their Talonflame and this is best case scenario. They basically switch lock themselves into my Raichu here, which is great because I can just go straight for the Thunder right now. I'm really hoping I can get to it before they can get to a Flame Charge, and luckily I'm able to. And this is easily going to one-shot the Talonflame here, as it does there. And then expecting the Altaria to come back in. Let's see what they decide to do here. They actually come in with their Raichu and this works out perfectly, right? Because I still have my Ninetales in the back which can take care of Altaria. So going to go for as many Brick Breaks as possible. It's going to do neutral damage in this matchup. And I don't really have to shield anything coming from Raichu at this point. I'm just going to save the shield for Alolan Ninetales. Gonna go for another Brick Break here, and this is definitely in Weather Ball range right now, right? So I don't have to shield this. I'm gonna let it go through here. It is a Brick Break. Immediately switching into my Ninetales and going for the Weather Ball. Unfortunately, ends up being a CMP tie, so definitely gonna shield this because Altaria doesn't have too much energy. Might as well shield this. A good thing we shielded the Wild Charge there, and gonna go for the Weather Ball here. It's gonna take out the Raichu, and then yeah, Altaria is gonna go down to Powder Snow there, right? Again, Altaria being double weak to Ice because of the flying dragon typing. It's a pretty straightforward matchup there. It's one of the reasons why even though Altaria is such a good Pokemon, I don't prefer using it as much in the Holiday Cup simply because of the number of Ice types there are. And also, you know, there are a few Charmers as well, right? Probably something like Wigglytuff there. So anyways, we have Alolan Ninetales into a Unova Stunfisk. That's the best case scenario. Immediately switching to my Dedenne here. When they switch into their Talonflame, and I have to win switch advantage, right? Because I need to make sure I line up my Alolan Ninetales against their Unova Stunfisk because Raichu in the back gets completely walled by it. Charge Boost is going to come through. It's going to be a Flame Charge here. I'm going to shield this up. And then I don't mind giving up 2 shields, but I'm going to have to make sure they don't sneak another Incinerate through. Luckily, we managed to do that because if they sneak a couple of Incinerates through, they're probably going to win switch advantage here. So Charge Boost is going to come through. I'm going to shield this up. At this point, if they don't switch out, I'm going to be able to get to one of the Discharge before they can get to one of the Flame Charge, right? So I'm barely able to get to a Discharge here. This is definitely going to do enough super effective damage and take out the Talonflame from this range. And we win switch advantage, which is absolutely crucial. They do come back with their Stunfisk. And they're going to have to throw, right? Because I'm going to be able to get to a play rough here. They do decide to throw, which is fantastic because I can come in with my Alolan Ninetales right now. So coming with my Alolan Ninetales here, they may come in with their Alolan Ninetales. Going to switch into my Raichu right now. And then Charge Boost is going to come through. I'm going to let it, I mean, we have no choice but to let it go through. Luckily, it's not a Dazzling Gleam, so we do survive the Weather Ball. Going to go for the Thunder here. This is going to do massive neutral damage once again, right? Almost one-shots the Ninetales there. And they're going to have to go for another Weather Ball right now. And this is best case scenario because I can come in with my Ninetales and completely farm it down so that I can land a couple of Weather Balls on the Stunfisk. This is just going to be another Weather Ball. It was too soon to be Dazzling Gleam here. And I'm going to be able to farm it down here, right? Luckily, I'm able to farm it down and I can just get off these couple of Weather Balls here. Now, again, it's going to do super effective damage because of the ground typing on the Unova Stunfisk. And I'm going to be able to get off another one here. And this is definitely going to do enough damage to probably take it out, right? Almost does enough damage. A couple of Powder Snow should take it out there. So we managed to sneak another fast move through. So as soon as this move comes through, it's going to KO there. So again, it's a good thing when you catch some of those ground types in the lead. I guess Diggersby can be a little bit more tricky because it has access to Fire Punch. But if you have Unova Stunfisk in the lead, you want to make sure that you have that matchup with Alolan Ninetales lined up all the way through, right? Because again, the back line has no play against electric types. So electric ground types, especially because Stunfisk triple resists electric. So again, another Alolan Ninetales. I'm going to play it slightly differently this time. I'm not going to throw the Dazzling Gleam. I'm going to wait for them to throw and soak it up. I'm hoping this is a Weather Ball Shield Bait, but unfortunately it ends up being a Dazzling Gleam. Immediately switching into my Dedenne right now, and I'm going to try and go for a couple of discharges here, right? I'm going to let it go through. This is probably just going to be another Weather Ball, and I need to go for back-to-back discharges here, right? So I'm going to go for a discharge here. If this gets the shield, I'm probably going to go for Play Rough. But if it doesn't get the shield, I'm going to go for another discharge. It does get the shield, so at this point, I'm going to go for the Play Rough because discharge is not going to KO from this range. I do have to give up a shield here, unfortunately, but I'm going to go for a Play Rough here. Let's see if they want to give up both shields in this matchup. And they do want to give up both shields, which is okay. But unfortunately, they're going to be able to farm down, which is not ideal. So I'm actually going to come in with my Ninetales and go straight for the Dazzling Gleam here because I don't want to come in with my Raichu and have to shield a couple of Weather Balls. So going for the Dazzling Gleam immediately, it's going to take out the Ninetales here, and then they come in with their Crobat, immediately switching to my Raichu right now, and now they make a switch into their Castform. Now this is pretty good because Raichu has access to Brick Break, which is going to do super effective damage against Castform. I'm going to let one of these Weather Balls go through. Going for the Brick Break right now. Again, because it doesn't have Stab, it's not going to do that much damage. It's probably going to need a couple of more Brick Breaks here. Going to go for another Brick Break right now, and hoping that I can take it out before they can get to another Weather Ball, right? So immediately going for another Brick Break because I need to preserve one of these shields for a potential Poison Fang coming from the Golbat. I do take it out there, and Golbat's going to come back in, and I'm going to try and go for a Thunder right now, right? I'm going to shield this up. The good thing is Air Slash is resisted. I'm hoping I can get to a Thunder before they can get to another Poison Fang. It's going to be extremely close, but luckily I'm barely able to get to a Thunder here. This is absolutely going to one-shot the Golbat, right? Again, super effective because of the flying typing, and that's one of the reasons why Electric is so prominent in this meta, because there are a lot of flyers. And quite a few water types as well, right? Like Jellicent, Lapras, etc. But again, flyers are just so common, and Electric hardly has any counters in this meta. So we have a Victreebel on the lead. Fantastic. You definitely want to catch some of these grass types on the lead as well. Even though we're taking so much damage from Razor Leaf, this is a pretty solid matchup here. So I'm going to go for the Weather Ball here. It does give the shield from the Victreebel. I'm going to try and go for another Weather Ball. Unfortunately, they're able to get to a Leaf Blade. I do have to absolutely shield this because I need to get off another Weather Ball here. And going for another Weather Ball, let's see if this gets the second shield from the Victreebel. It does get the shield, so immediately switching into my Dedenne and I'm going to try and go for the discharge as soon as possible. Razor Leaf did about 50% of Dedenne's health there, but it's fine. And they come in with their Kanto Raichu. I'm going to try and go for a discharge as soon as possible. I'm going for a Play Rough as soon as possible. I'm going to risk it and let it go through. Luckily, it's just a Thunder Punch and it is resisted, and we barely survived with like just 1 HP there. Going for the Play Rough, it's going to do massive. That did about 80 to 90% of Raichu's health, right? Which is fantastic. And then I'm going to come in with my Raichu. This is best case scenario because I can come in with Raichu and completely farm down their Raichu. And I'm going to have a lot of loaded energy for whatever is in the back, right? It's going to completely farm it down here. And then, yeah, it's going to be a GG. They decided to give up the match because they probably had another flyer in the back, something like Skarmory or Golbat or whatever. Probably, a lot of people like to have Talonflame in the back, so they probably had that in the back as well. So, anyways, moving on to the next battle. Probably the final battle of the video here. We have Alolan Ninetales into a Lapras, immediately switching into my Dedenne right now. And I go for the discharge. They catch it on their Alolan Ninetales, which is fine. I do have to win switch advantage here. And because I need to make sure I can line up my Raichu against their Lapras, right? So I'm going to definitely shield this up, and I'm going to try and go for as many discharges as possible here. So I'm going to overfarm a little bit here, and then going for the discharge right now. And this is probably going to get the shield from the Alolan Ninetales here, as it does there. And then Charge Move is going to come through. I'm going to shield this up, and I'm going to try and go for another discharge right now. So going for another discharge, I'm really hoping they let this go through because switch advantage is absolutely critical for me. But they do shield that, unfortunately. They do want to win switch advantage as well. And yeah, unfortunately, Dedenne is going to go down. And I'm going to come in with my Alolan Ninetales here. And now they make a switch into their Lapras, immediately switching to my Raichu. This is best case scenario, right? Because even though we lost switch advantage, they basically given up switch. And I have my Raichu lined up against this Lapras. I need to get to a Thunder before they can get to a Surf here. Luckily, I'm able to do it just in time. And this is easily going to one-shot the Lapras from this range, as it does there. And then they're going to come in with their Ninetales, going to try and go for a Brick Break right now. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get to it. But I'm going to come in with my Ninetales and completely farm it down, right? I'm hoping this is not a Dazzling Gleam. It is just a Weather Ball, which is good. And then I'm going to try and completely farm it down. This is probably just going to be another Weather Ball here. We have a lot of loaded energy. I'm hoping whatever is in the back is weak to Ninetales, right? And as expected, they have an Altaria in the back, and this is GG's right now. Alolan Ninetales is probably one of the hardest Altaria counters in this meta. And then I'm going to overfarm a little bit, going for another Weather Ball here. It's definitely going to take out the Altaria from this range. And then Alolan Ninetales is going to go down to Powder Snow there. So, yeah, pretty close one. Luckily, they had an Altaria. If they had something like an Alolan Marowak in the back, it would have been very difficult there. So, it was a 5-0 set. Honestly, I dropped below 2000 at one point because I was experimenting a bunch. And I haven't even been playing too much as far as the season is concerned. Hopefully, I can get to Veteran or Expert at some point later on in the season if I do get the time to play a few more battles. But anyways, it was... it's nice to sort of finish the Holiday Cup on a high there. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and once again, a very happy new year. Hopefully you have a great 2022, and hopefully it's a great year for Pokemon Go PvP as well. So once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.